Okay.
Good evening.
What's happening?
Good evening.
What up? What's happening?
Got a nice crowd in here. Sounds like a solid bunch.
You get it,
Ready
man.
to listen to some sports as we talk sports.
Sports and entertainment.
Powered
Little
by
conversation.
Excess.
Powered by Excess.
This
You already know.
podcast is powered by Excess.
The podcasters and the podcast. Powered
Exactly.
by
Excess. For that ass.
For that ass.
No titty.
No Diddy.
Coming to you live from the Sit Your Ass Down studios. Welcome to the Me and D
Pops and Son.
podcast.
For that ass.
For that ass.
For that ass.
For that ass. For that ass.
For that ass. No Diddy.
No Diddy. Happy holidays to everyone.
Happy
This
holidays.
time of year. It is December 20th.
Man.
We thank you for listening to us.
Crazy.
Got a few things to go through. Rest in peace to the students and the teacher, or the student and teacher senselessly gunned down in a school shooting in Madison, Wisconsin earlier this week. Rey Mysterio Sr., a.k.a. Miguel Angel Lopez Diaz, the uncle of WWE superstar Rey Mysterio Jr., he passed away today.
Man, that's crazy. Honestly, you got me nervous for a second. I'm like, Rey Mysterio died.
Yeah, well, I saw the headline. I thought it was him.
Said, oh,
yeah.
no.
You know how clickbait is.
Clickbait. You like, Rey Mysterio died?
Yeah, I was like, oh, man. Rey Mysterio Sr., his uncle, that's the other part that got me, though. I'm not even getting into that, how the uncle is the senior, but never heard of that one.
Some family trauma.
I'm your Uncle Daddy.
I'm your dunkle.
I'm your Waddy. There. Also, the rest in peace, since we're talking about rest in peace to actress Diane Delano. She was 67. The artist Lorraine O'Grady. NFL referee Jim Tunney passed away. Refereed several playoff games, Super Bowls. Defensive lineman Jimmy Wilkerson died of a heart attack earlier in the week. And the former Phoenix Sun, Dick Van Arsdale. So,
damn.
Rest in peace to those folks. Birthdays on the 22nd. Gold medal winner boxer Tyrell Biggs celebrates a birthday.
Hey.
Jason Lane, American baseball player.
Jason Lane.
Jamel Williams, football safety for the Redskins, celebrates a birthday today. Steve Garvey and Steve Carlton, both Major League ball players. Steve Carlton was the pitcher for the Cardinals and the Phillies, Hall of Famer, won the Triple Crown in 1972, 10-time All-Star. To Gabriel Medina, Medina, Brazilian professional surfer, celebrates a birthday. And to Lonnie Smith, baseball player, played for the Braves, the Phillies, the Cardinals, won 3 World Series with 3 different teams. Wow. He celebrates a birthday on the 22nd.
Wow.
And a little bit of history on this day. In 2020, Caitlin Clark registers her first triple-double at Iowa with 13 points, 13 rebounds, and 10 assists against Western Illinois. Also in 2020, Argentine soccer superstar Lionel Messi scores his 644th goal for FC Barcelona during a 3-0 win over Real Villa. Yeah, I'm not even trying to pronounce that one. Pele had 643 goals for the Santos in 1956. 57. 2019, New Orleans wide receiver Michael Thomas sets the NFL record for most catches in a season with his 144th as a Saints, beat Tennessee 38-28. He broke a 17-year-old record held by Marvin Harrison, who held the old record of 143. In 2003, the New York Knicks hired Isaiah Thomas as president of basketball operations. That didn't last long and didn't end well. That's how I'll phrase that. 1997, Scotty Bowman, Red Wings beat the Boston Bruins, giving him his 200th win with Detroit and made him the first NHL coach to record 200 wins with 3 different teams. And in 1996, St. Louis Blues right wing Brett Hull scores his 26th NHL career hat trick to reach 500 career goals in a 7-4 win over the LA Kings with father Bobby Hull, and they became the first father-son combo to each record 500 goals. That's your rest in peace, your birthdays, and your history. All in one whop. You got our attention. We normally focus on college sports, and I got a few topics for us tonight. The college playoffs kicked off. We've got Notre Dame hosting Indiana, the first game of the college playoff series.
Got it going on.
Currently, you said it's 14-0.
Yeah, 14-0. Notre Dame is up with 3 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the second quarter.
And we both picked Notre Dame to win this.
Notre
so
Dame.
I'm not surprised by the score.
Yep.
What are your feelings as we're actually here? You know, when it's the build up, the conversation about it a couple years back, then they said that they were going to expand to 12 teams. We went through the whole season. We're here. You got a dog in the fight. You're a Georgia fan, Georgia Bulldog fan.
Yes, sir.
You got a dog in the fight, a literal dog in the fight.
Are
you excited? What do you tell me your feelings on the playoffs?
No, I'm excited, man.
Playoffs.
Playoffs. No, I'm really excited, man. Like you said, I got a dog in the fight, and I think this is good for college football to bring some more light to it, especially. You still got meaningful games going on right now. This is just the first round. You're going to have games today, games tomorrow, games leading up to that national championship. Say you had a little slump. You're like at SMU. Technically, you go on a run. You could be in the national championship. I think that's what it allows it to do. That's what makes March Madness so great. Just because you're the favorite doesn't mean you're going to win on that day, especially with football. It's one and done. It's either you win or you don't. Either you show up or you don't. So I'm excited for college football. Also excited for Georgia to see if we can get our backs back from. We didn't get to that three-peat from last year. We went back-to-back, and then last year they didn't put us in the top 4. We weren't able to do the three-peat, so I felt like that left a bad taste in Georgia's mouth. Pause, and then a little chip on their shoulder. So they come out here ready to play. I don't know if Carson Beck is going to be healthy or not. But the backup, I think with our run game, we play good defense. I think we can.
Gunnar
Stockton is gonna be popping. Quarterback dropping back. So I'm excited, man. I love what they're doing for college football playoffs. I think there's a few things they got to tweak, but I think it's
we'll go into that. This is our.
I mean, as far as like I don't know. Kind of with the rankings, I don't know. They have to figure out a little bit the rankings and also the buys as far as like maybe just your top 2 teams to get a bye, and like Arizona State and Boise would have to still fight in for their play. And then honestly, if you really think about it, like we discussed before, it should just be the top 12 teams. If you finish in the top 12, you should be seeded in. You should be playing. So there's a few things that they need to tweak as far as just dotting the I's and crossing the T's. But I think overall this year, it's exciting. It's real exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited for your team. I was a little bit bummed out about Carson Beck going down, and I think we talked about this before with Gunnar Stockton. They're not going to try to do too much. Exactly. So they're going to go back to what makes them Georgia. Run the football, smash mouth. He can throw the ball. He proved that he can throw the ball, and he can take a hit, and he can run the ball. He scored that game-winning touchdown, if I remember right. Or was it the conversion? I just remember he ran and he got popped.
Yeah, I think it was.
Remember that? It was right at the end of the game. It was in the overtime. It was in the overtime. But I think you all got a good shot at getting into that championship game as long as he plays well. Like I said, I think it makes Georgia go back to their identity of running the football, throw when you need to. It seemed like at times Carson Beck was a little bit too gun happy, throw happy.
Yeah, he was too
when he didn't have to, and he put them in some bad situations with turnovers. I think with Gunnar, they're going to be able to take care of the football much better. Even though he's a gunner, I think his forte is going to be handing that ball off to, like you said, your good backs, Etienne. What's the other? Frazier Jr. And there was one other young man I was impressed with, but those are the main 2. Stick to that run game. I just wonder, D, if we do all this, will it be the same as the BCS rankings where 1 and 2 are still going to end up being, because really it looks almost like it's going to shape up to be 1 and 2 anyway.
Yeah.
I like the fact you got more teams in it. I like the fact that teams are more balanced.
Yeah,
I
teams
think
are more
that's
balanced. Yeah.
what I'm looking
Yeah,
to
you
say.
don't really have, because now just with NIL and what that does, you got players go anywhere as far as just impact. So you don't just have one conference, usually the SEC, just to dominate and get all the recruits and get all the exposure and get all the money.
Right.
And you can go anywhere now and bag, especially if you got a following. And if you're about that, there's nothing really you can do about that besides beat number 1 and number 2. If number 1 plays like a number 1, they're gonna be there. If number 2 plays like a number 2, they're supposed to be there. But yeah, it's up to those teams to go ahead and beat them and get them off the top rankings. But I like how there is a chance for a team that can beat them. You got to go through multiple teams. You don't just automatically get through there. You don't automatically just get.
It's not handed to you.
Yeah, it's not handed to you. You do got to do a little work and prove that you're meant to be there. Now, I hope they don't. Especially, I know they like to get those. What?
No, don't expand it. I thought that's what you were about to say.
No. I said I hope they don't expect if SMU and Arizona State end up making it. Don't be mad that you know what I'm saying? That Oregon, Georgia, Texas, a big following didn't make it. This is part of the playoff. This is why
part of the process. Yeah, that's why you expanded it.
So don't do a couple years later when you're getting some maybe not as bigger schools making it, and then you're like, oh, we got to make sure the number 1 and number 2 teams get in there. It's random. It is
random. Yeah.
I think it's pretty good. I think I'm gonna enjoy it because it's a lot of good games coming up.
It gives us something to look forward to.
Yeah, for real.
I typically don't watch the bowl games as much.
Not at all.
I can't tell you. I've seen bits and pieces of games when they come on. I just happen to be on ESPN, and so I'll watch the start of a game, the Outback Around the Corner Bowl. I might watch the first couple of minutes, and then I'm changing the channel.
Of an Outback Bowl by the trash can.
The Me and D Pops and Son podcast bowl. But outside of that, yeah, I give it a few minutes, and then I'm changing the channel.
Everybody get a bowl game.
You brought something that I had later on in the podcast, but we can bring it now. The transfer portal. Did you know that the transfer portal started on December the 9th and it runs through the 28th in the middle of the season because you still had games being played at that particular time?
I got to get the stat, but I know University of Marshall was ineligible to play
because they didn't have enough players.
They didn't have enough players. Everybody was transferring. Everybody went to the NIL. Right. They out of there.
And they're like, if I don't, there's one guy, I forgot, and he was on the Marshall team. He said, if I don't go now, I won't have an opportunity to go to a team that I might be able to start next year if we sit back and wait. And that's the flaw in this. They got to move the portal. It could be after the day after the championship.
Yes. The day after the season.
The day after. Open it up. And you know what? Leave it open. Open it up from January, whatever that date is. I don't remember when the championship game is.
Championship game is usually the first.
I think like around the 8th or 9th, somewhere around in there.
It was 8th.
I got the.
It's gonna be. It's not the first Monday of the.
It's like the second
January.
Monday.
Yeah, first and second Monday of January.
And I just had the little scheduling.
What the hook gonna be? Oh.
I don't need no hook on this beat.
I don't need no hook on this beat. All I need is a track in the background. My headphones loud, keep going around, and I be hey.
That's crazy that I just had that when I didn't need it. But we know it's about that second Monday of the new year.
I can look it up. Sure.
But my point is, open it up from that point and go from that date until March the 1st. I'll just use that. Leave it open till March the 1st. That way, when spring football comes around, you know who's going to be where. Oh, you know why they do it? Because you probably got to be at that school. You may have to report to that school for the winter session.
Yeah, for early enrollment.
Early enrollment.
Or just get in there for classes and get your schedule and stuff like that. So yeah, so for I guess for this year, since they're doing the college football playoff, because they usually wrap up around that like 8th, 9th margin. But now the game is going to be played on January 20th.
Oh, damn. Yeah, I guess because you have expanded it, and
you got first round,
by the looks of
quarterfinals,
it, they wait a week, so
semifinals.
they give you a
Yeah,
week in between, I guess, for travel.
yeah, to get
And it's
acclimated.
almost 2 weeks. You have
Right.
almost like a bye week, and then you come back that next week, so teams, like you said, can travel and all that good stuff. But
Settled in.
okay, so because the second transfer portal date starts in, I got it here. Hold on. So there's 2 of them. So they got the one in December, and then April the 16th of 2025, and runs through the 25th. So about 10 days. Yeah, it'd be about less than 10 days. And I guess that's, like I said, maybe players after spring football, I don't have a shot here, or it doesn't look like I'm going to play, so I get an opportunity to transfer. But man, I don't know. They got to fix that, because, well, I know one way of eliminating it, and this goes right into my next point. If you're not one of the top 12 teams, do the bowl games really matter anymore? And should they be played? Because all you're doing is you're just putting more wear and tear on a young man's body, more CTE opportunities.
More CTE, which
Seriously,
is not funny,
you're taking hits for no reason, because that game don't mean a damn thing.
Honestly, I don't think they meant a damn thing in the first place. Right. Like, if it was, like, honestly, if it wasn't the national championship, I guess the Rose Bowl, and then
I know they rotated,
Cotton Bowl, maybe,
the
I don't know,
Bowl,
the Peach Bowl,
the Fiesta Bowl is one of the main ones.
Honestly, if you didn't make it to the national championship, I don't think none of the bowl games meant a damn. No one was watching it with any type of, oh, that's great. Like,
just other than the team the people that go to that school.
Yeah. Besides the people that go to the school, you finish your season off strong. But as far as a viewer, like, I don't think it didn't really mean that. But
it don't mean a damn thing.
Yeah, they're not really losing out the what's it called? The value of the bowl game. I don't think it's diminishing at all from just doing the college football playoff, because I think it holds the same value as it did before.
It really had no relevance, is what you're saying.
Pretty much. It really had no relevance. It was just, it is what it is. It's another bowl game.
I just think they can just eliminate it. And that would be an opportunity, too, for the players to transfer. If you want to hit the portal, you can hit it, because there's no meaningless games being played all the way up through when we start the bowl series, or the main bowl games, which are the ones being played right now for the championship. So I just think they could go ahead and eliminate it.
They always want to squeeze out any type of just money that's there.
It's money, and for ESPN, it's programming.
It's money.
Yeah, because a lot of those games are on ESPN, and I'm just like, man,
listen.
What money? What money? We'll move on. We're still on the college theme. Did you know this was a thing? So it started with Deion Sanders, then Eddie George, Ed Reed tried, and that latest, Michael Vick.
Man, I'm glad we talked. I was
taking over for historically black college and university, HBCU. It was announced that he would become the head coach of Norfolk State. I meant to get their mascot. I just know they were 4-8 this past season. They've got like a green and yellow colors.
I just looked at. It's so funny. I just looked it up.
Yeah, I did too. They're not the Goblins.
Nah, ain't no. I don't think it's the Goblins. That sound
Spartans.
There you go. I was about to say
green and yellow are the colors. I don't know if I can picture Mike Vick in green and yellow, but I guess I'm gonna have to. But
right.
Yeah, I didn't know this was a thing, but I like that it's a thing that athletes, former athletes, prime athletes, great athletes are giving back to the HBCU and colleges, universities, and not only giving their time, but taking their talent, and they're molding themselves into being coaches. I guess that's a good proving ground for former players with no experience in coaching. But man, I'm happy for Mike Vick. This is definitely a 180 from where he was when he was sentenced for dog fighting. Don't condone that. But Mike's turned his life around. and it's just feather in his cap that he's going to be able to give back to young black men in a positive way.
Absolutely.
Grew up across the bridge in the Hampton Beach area, Virginia Beach area. So I'm happy for Mike. That's going to be another team that we're going to be following.
Oh, absolutely. It just set another precedent. I think you can really tip your hat to Deion for really making it, starting that trend of former players going back, giving back to HBCUs like you did, and to see the success that he had at Jackson State, and then he was able to move on. I'm not saying I don't think players are going there just to move on, but I think Deion had a very huge impact in Jackson State, and then also Eddie George at Tennessee State.
Mm-hmm.
I think he led them to like their first. I gotta back it, but as far as they had a really great season this year, as far as Tennessee State did.
Yeah, they did.
And now you're seeing a trend. I know Ed Reed.
He tried.
He tried.
Right.
He tried.
Yeah, he tried.
He tried. And it's also a lot of the HBCUs don't get a lot of the funding as the PWI
Power 5 schools,
Institute, the Power 5 schools get due to funding, because all that is, alma mater and donors and people with
driven by success of the school and the teams. Yep.
People got deep pockets and but I think it's great the fact that he can make an impact on young black men to steer them in the right direction. Sports always is a great tool to build characteristic skills, to build discipline, to build life lessons. And he can come from a standpoint. I was a player. I was a top player. I had it all at one point, man. I had the best contract, MVP, and I made some poor decisions.
I'm on the cover of Madden.
Right. I was covering Madden. Like, I'm Michael Vick. He was the AI of the NFL as far as the culture. He brought the culture, and he brought that dynamic. We didn't really see anything like that to that extent for what he did, but a couple poor decisions and it changed in an instant. And the next thing you know, you're in a jail cell and not a federal prison.
You're in Leavenworth. That's a hard place to be.
He can contest to people. Hey, man, don't take this for granted, because one decision it affects the rest of your life, but you can always even if you make a mistake, you can correct it after. You can be rehabilitated. You can change your ways. You can get better, and you can learn from it. So I'm excited for Michael Vick, especially being a Falcons. That's the OG. So shout out to Michael Vick, man. That's good for him.
Shout out to Mike Vick. Someone said the other day I was watching a show and they were talking about highlights, and this is when it was just rumored that he was going to take the job. And they were just talking about quarterbacks running with the football. And they said, "You think Lamar Jackson is a bad man running the football, but he is no Michael Vick." That dude was dynamic running the football.
I'm telling you,
that dude was dynamic running the football. They do it in
different ways. They do it in different ways. I think Lamar's trying to throw more now, but Michael Vick had a big arm. But as far as making a play,
I'm just talking about straight running the ball.
You talking about straight just running the ball? Mike Vick. You talking about just straight running the ball,
juking and just anything? Yeah,
speed, juking. I'm not saying that unreal. Lamar done got it. Like, Lamar got it.
He's got it, but he's no Mike Vick when it comes to running that football.
Mike Vick was something different.
Yeah, you won't see that again, or we haven't seen it in quite a while. So. And then last on the college football front, our pick to win the Heisman, Travis Hunter. He did indeed take that hardware home. Ashton Jeanty was a little bit salty about it.
Very salty.
Hey, man, you don't play on both sides of the football.
Hey, man, play quarterback, play linebacker. Like,
I just didn't respect it as much just because of the competition that he played. Nothing against, I know it's hard to get 2,400 yards. I get that. That's nothing to sneeze at, but
it's not. It's really
you weren't going up against the SEC, the Big Ten, and Big 12 is a little more powerhouse than the Mountain West. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
And I think that this was the closest vote they said in quite some time, but I think Travis earned it. I was afraid that he wasn't going to get it, and that some of the writers are going to lean more towards Ashton Jeanty's season that he had, career type season. Travis Hunter got the hardware, and that's all that matters, I guess.
Yeah, like you said, he's playing two positions, at a high level.
100 plus
snaps. We're talking about who is the best overall football player.
Right. The most outstanding player.
It's just yes, you did have it's 2,000 yards. I think Travis Hunter could rush for 2,000 yards. No, but as far as a receiver, as far as a corner, he was playing top notch all season, impacting his team, and then they turned that program around. Of course, as a competitor, I feel him. You're always gonna be salty when, especially if I rush 2,000 yards, and I'm not can say they ran for 2,000 yards, but yeah, you went against some tough competition, and any other maybe if this was a different time, you'd had a little less. Any other night,
calling me.
Any other night,
you be calling me a bugaboo.
What's going on? Hey, I'm gonna have to. I'm so sick of being lonely. That was the cut.
That was the cut. But no, I totally get what you're saying. You stalling me.
Sorry, Genty.
You're right.
Any other night.
All right, so we'll move on to a little NBA talk.
Yes, let's get it.
So a few weeks ago, we were referencing the rough start that the Milwaukee Bucks had gotten off to, and I'd even wondered aloud, had Doc Rivers messed up by coming out of the booth and taking that coaching job? But they've turned themselves around. They're 8-2 in the last 10 games, and they won the second in-season NBA Cup. Congratulations to Milwaukee, man. And Giannis Antetokounmpo is looking like he's going to be the MVP if he stays healthy. Dude's playing some unreal ball, averaging almost 33 points a game. I didn't look at the rebounds and assists, but I know he had a triple-double in the win against OKC and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's squad. But, yeah, congratulations to the Milwaukee Bucks. And, yeah, they're playing some real good ball right now.
Yeah, just to piggyback on everything that you said, yeah, they were really struggling. We were giving Doc Rivers.
We were clowning Doc.
Hey, we just calling what we see, baby.
Yep.
We just observe. It's an observation. But you see the cohesiveness. I think they're finally getting their rhythm with Dame there too. I think they're finally producing what they expected, and Chris Middleton being healthy now too. I think that also helps out a lot.
I still think they miss Drew Holiday.
No, Drew Holiday is the X factor.
He's the glue.
I mean, he's the glue because he's someone that you don't really think about, but he's playing defense and he's getting you at least 16.
And he can take over the game when you need him to hit a big bucket.
And he's not shy of the moment at all.
No,
he is
not afraid of the moment.
Straight dog.
Yep.
So yeah, I think Drew Holiday is the X factor. You always need like a Drew Holiday on your team. As you can see, you go to Milwaukee, win a championship. You go to Boston, win a championship. And
I think he's the difference in Boston getting over the hump. Because,
you can say you're a difference maker. Yeah.
Yep, because he had the experience for one. And that's why the coaches wanted him to be on the Olympic team, because he brings that unselfishness about himself that I'll do whatever you need me to do. But just know, if I need to hit a key bucket, I can do it. If you need me on defense, and like you say, he's not afraid of the big moments. Congratulations, though, to Milwaukee turning the season around. Now, we'll see if this translates into further success, because the same thing happened with the Lakers last year. They got hot. They won the cup. And then they faded down the stretch, but they also weren't relying on the almost 40-something-year-old LeBron James to carry him throughout the season like they're doing this year. He had to sit down a few games this week. Dude
at some point, somebody got to make some decisions besides LeBron James there. I don't know. He's making too many of the decisions. Like, you guys are trusting too. I'm a big LeBron James fan. Don't get me wrong.
Giving him too much power.
You're giving him too much power. Yeah. You need some help, bro. You're trying to, like you just said, you're relying on a 39-year-old, and it's LeBron James, but come on now.
Yeah.
These are 20-year-old youngins. You can run around for days, and if you're sore, you can rejuvenate, bounce back like that. That's a lot different than 39 going. Yep. He's going to be 40. What, December 30th?
Yep.
This is his birthday.
Yeah,
this is his birthday month. 40 years old.
It's crazy. That's crazy. I don't blame him for sitting down and load managing himself.
He shouldn't be playing as much.
But he shouldn't be playing those kind of minutes. But again, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. They did nothing to improve the squad. They weakened it. it's gotten weaker. All you got is Dalton Knecht, and I don't mean to down him. He's that was a solid draft choice and draft piece. But Dalton Knecht can't carry you to an NBA championship.
Right.
That's not the piece. They need pieces. They didn't need a piece. And I give credit to AD, Anthony Davis. He's playing well again, but how long is he going to hold up?
So, they need Austin Reeves to be that.
He got his bag, and that dude is like he took his bag and said, I'm good.
He did.
He's not the player that he was 2 years ago.
He got complacent.
He got complacent. I got a nice bag. I got a shoe deal, and I'm good. This is what I came to the NBA for. I'm straight. I'm set. So, yeah. Anyway, moving on to the NBA rankings real quick. The top 5. Got a new one this week. OKC, the Thunder, even though they lost the cup, they are number 1. The Cavs dropped to number 2. Cleveland Cavaliers. Boston is number 3. Dallas Mavericks jumped up. They're number 4. And then the Memphis Grizzlies are number 5. And we hadn't heard much from Ja. I know the team is playing well. I just hadn't heard a lot about Ja Morant. What is he doing?
Right.
He's there.
You're there. All those seasons he sat out, he hasn't been playing a lot of basketball here lately. I think it's a little bit of rust, a little bit of, especially, man, I'm not going to lie, to keep a mentality of being, it's hard not to get comfortable.
Right.
It's hard not to get complacent.
Get back in that groove where you got to work out every day, shoot around.
They man, I got this contract. I got this. I'm athletic. Like I can just show up and play ball.
Mm-hmm.
If we win a game or two, but the mentality of going into a season of being like, no, we're going to win a championship and being the example and being the leader. I think you're not. I don't think you're not seeing that from Ja. One, because he's still young. He's already a bona fide superstar. You're just not seeing that hunger like you're used to seeing. Or that you would want to see. And maybe it's him almost being like, you did get chances. You can't really be salty, but maybe salty about sitting out X amount of games or the punishment. But it's not like you didn't deserve it or it wasn't justified.
Could have been worse.
It definitely could have been worse. Yeah, you're not really seeing the same production a couple years back of Ja Morant that we were like, man, his trajectory is, this dude is superstar.
Through the roof, yeah.
And but I guess soon as he got in all that trouble, guess who took that spotlight? Anthony Edwards. And then now Jason Tatum finally won a ring. So now he's everywhere. And so it's
Luka extended his game and his profile, making it to the finals.
And now with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So it's just like that you were going up, you effed up, and then
now you got pushed aside. Yeah, you're almost forgotten. Yeah.
Yeah, you are forgotten. Literally, honestly, I was like, oh yeah, Ja Morant. I don't know. I think he just, some people just get.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. Memphis was 3 years ago. They were fighting. They were one of the teams fighting for a championship.
Yeah, top.
And you just knew that they were going to get there. And then he had his troubles, and it all went away. And since he's come back, it's like they have not regained that same hunger. Big boy, what's his name? JJ. I'm talking about the big dude that shoots well in the center. Seemed like he got his bag, and I don't think he's been the same.
Jackson Jr.
There you go. Yep.
Triple J.
Yep. He's not the same. He don't seem like he plays as hard. And maybe his attitude is like, man, I've been here.
Right.
You left me by myself to try to get this done, and now you just show back up. There's something going on, but they are ranked 5th, so they're playing good basketball. Maybe that's a credit to the coaching. I don't know, but it's interesting that Ja is just not that person that we thought we would see at about this time. So, where's our pet Jenkins? I know it's cold, Jenkins.
Where you at?
I'm gonna take you out the barn and I'm gonna put you back, give you a little extra hay and whatever. Jenkins is here to tell someone, man, that you're a jackass.
You're a jackass.
This person I didn't expect to hit this list, especially not for this stuff. Rushed for 2,000 yards, was an MVP. Talk about AP.
AP played.
Adrian Peterson, man. He's got several arrest warrants in Texas for not paying his child support.
I knew it was not paying something. It's either his taxes or it was his child support. Cause he got in some trouble not too long ago. I think he wasn't paying some taxes or something. He owes some people some money.
He owes some serious dough. And they say he's been taking on these little weird boxing matches, celebrity boxing matches. I don't know the outcome. I hadn't seen him in anything.
He got knocked out in one of them. I think he got knocked out by Le'Veon Bell. This is like a little while ago, but he got pieced up by Le'Veon Bell, knocked out, dropped.
Oh, damn. So he's got more problems than not only you're trying to chase the money, but you can't box.
Chase the money. You get knocked
out.
You
can't fight. Damn, AP.
It's all bad for AP.
It's all bad, man, because you made millions. I don't know what you have done with that money, but Jenkins wanted me to let you know that, yeah, man, you're a jackass this week. You're this week's jackass.
You're a jackass.
It's not a sandwich.
It's not a panini.
It's not a taco.
It's not a burrito.
It's not a pizza.
It's a wrap. It's a good
wrap.
It's
a good wrap. It's official. Wide receiver Deontay Johnson, who was picked up at the trade deadline by the Baltimore Ravens, was released. He was a jackass a couple weeks ago. He was released for conduct detrimental to the team.
Wow.
He had one catch for 6 yards in his time with the Ravens.
Baller. He balling out, man. I'm surprised.
Balling out. You balled so hard, you be in the USFL or the XFL. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna find you.
You're going to be in the XFL, I guess, this spring because
to the Battlehawks.
Teams aren't going to want you.
Yeah.
Seriously.
No.
I just don't get it. You refuse to go in and play when the team needed. That's another instance where a player was needed. Hey, man, we called your number. Nah, I'm good, man. I'm good. Now you don't have a job. So it's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Moving on to the NFL Monday Night Football. We had 2 games. Vikings 30. They improved to 12-2. They beat the Bears 30-12. Let me back up. Vikings 30, Bears 12. The Vikings improved to 12-2. The Bears fell to 4-10. Not much of a game. That was opener. And then in the nightcap, we had a scared. I don't even know what other than scared, pitiful, embarrassing Kirk Cousins.
Disappointing.
And the Falcons, yeah, there you go. Disappointing. They won 15-9. They beat the Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders.
That was such a trash game.
They almost gave that game away.
They
almost gave that game away, D. That I was sitting there thinking, if you lose this game, your season is over for 1. 2, you should have listened to us on the wrap-up show, and really, I would have started Penix. That, to me, was the game to start him. No Max Crosby.
And they would have had him in this. You would have had him for a second week in this game.
Exactly.
And he would have had another game under his feet instead of now you're just throwing him in there.
Now you're throwing him in there, and you've given him basically the keys to the car. You've told him you're going to play the rest of the season, but what if he fails on Sunday?
That's what I'm saying.
You put a whole lot of pressure on that man.
Thank you.
When you didn't have to. You could have played this better, Raheem Morris. You definitely could have played this better.
Played this a lot better.
If we saw it and we're recognizing the fact that was the perfect week to put that man in and make that change. Now Kirk's thrown 1 touchdown and 9 interceptions in the last 5 games. He got worse. And literally, he was afraid to throw the football. I never seen a quarterback that afraid to throw the ball, because Desmond Ridder, who was your quarterback last year, threw a hell of a lot of interceptions, threw 1 in that game. He wasn't afraid to let the ball loose. He was throwing it. He almost led them to a win. He almost brought them back. And I was just looking at Kirk. Okay, the first 6 weeks, you had that swagger about yourself. Seriously, what's happened in your life? You think something personal's going on? I'm just trying to figure out where the regression came from.
Take a look at yourself and make that change. Na 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 na.
That man.
Make that change. Man in the mirror. Man, come on now. Come on now, Raheem.
In the mirror.
You gotta make that change. Like, for real, what was you waiting on?
Change.
Make that change.
Make that change.
All that.
Mom singing hard. And
Right. And then just
make that
make
change.
Like, that was your subconscious. You over here with it. Yeah, just make the change. But it's just, come on, we saw it. We knew this was on almost the writing on the wall. If you had, like we said, this would have this perfect opportunity after Kirk Cousins has been just so bad, trash. This was the perfect game to throw him in. You got the Raiders who were struggling. Our defense was dominating, obviously.
They were. They kept you in the game.
Kept us in the game. What's you could have ran the same game plan with Michael Penix. He would have had another game under his belt, and then he would have felt more confident going into the second game. But now, you're just like, oh, now, hand the keys over to the rookie, and he's gonna just try to rally
and hopefully he can save our
more
season.
Games and save the season. It's just, come on, the decision making is just very idiotic and just stupid.
It's whack.
That's what holds us back. We just make stupid decisions, and it's just no organization, no one. Like that, and it's also bad coaching too as well. That's terrible coaching, Raheem.
It is.
Get your team ready to play. If you knew, you should have made this call. Honestly, that in that Chargers game, after that second pick, after that third pick,
and when the offense really wasn't moving,
from then on, you play Penix, and then for that Minnesota game, okay, I understand you got Kurt back in his hometown, whatever, where he used to play or whatever. But still, for that game, you see, like, it was just the management of your personnel is not, and that's on the head coach. So that's the one way is just, man, you got to be the head coach, which also, it goes back what we were talking about. You might want a Bill Belichick in that situation because he would have read that way earlier.
At least you would have hoped he would have.
At least you would have hoped
because that's one thing about Bill. He was not afraid to make a change in the middle of a game. Hey, we just need a spark. We don't have it this week. And then he'll go back to the other quarterback. But for today, to get this dub, we need to make a quick change. Yeah, we're managing for right now. We're not worried about next week.
Right.
We're not on to Cleveland, as he would say.
Right.
So famously, we're playing right now. And I think Penix is going to do well. I hope he does well. I'll have my eyes on that game. But it's almost a week, almost to your point, 2-3 weeks too late. And they may still salvage the season. But the other thing is the Bucs seem like they're gaining momentum.
They hot right now. That was the worst.
Baker's baking.
Baker is baking.
Baker is baking right now.
All you had to do is sustain the lead. And if we would have tied with them, we would have had the 2-game advantage. But now you're playing catch up with a team who's on fire.
And
the Bucs did that the same thing last year. Was it last year? They got on the roll. They got hot.
Yeah, hoping they come back to the pack, but you were in control of it. That's the thing that gets me, in control of it. They were chasing you. You dropped back down to their level, and they passed you up. And that's pitiful. That's poor coaching.
It's terrible.
So anyway, D, I feel for you. In the Thursday night game, which was last night, the battle of the former Oregon quarterbacks, you had Bo Nix taking on Justin Herbert. And at one point, the Broncos were running away with that game. And all of a sudden, Herbo got hot, started running the ball. Gus Edwards had a good game. Lance McConkey had a good game. And before you know it, both teams are now 9-6 on the season.
It's a little funky.
So it's crazy. Chargers 34, Broncos 27. Each of them now still in the playoff hunt. Chargers need a little more help than the Broncos do, but all in all, they're still right there. That was a good Thursday night game. And I was telling somebody the Thursday night games have been pretty damn good.
Here lately.
The only one that my game was trash, 12-6 and no touchdowns. Or I think it's the one touchdown that didn't what's his name get a touchdown? Puka Nacua. Anyway, the game wasn't all that. 12-6 final. Moving on. Yeah, that was the Thursday night game. And then the NFL game of the week, actually, the biggest and best games are taking place on Saturday. You got the Texans and the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Apparently, it looks like Patrick Mahomes is going to play, which I would not do. I don't care how healthy he thinks he is or
How
he
many
feels.
shots he got?
I wouldn't play him. This is just a game you don't have to have.
Especially on a Saturday,
and you
and then
turn
they
around
gotta
and play
play on
again
a Wednesday.
on a Wednesday, a
You
5
got a
game
short week. So what?
short week.
What if he re-aggravates it again?
Exactly. Or what
And
if he
then
takes a hit that he didn't have to take? Then your three-peat is out the window. You don't need him in this game. Right.
Out the window. Oh, just out the window.
It's just you're in the boat fishing. You catch the fish, you fumble it, he goes back in the water.
Man,
you just fumbled and dropped the fish back into the water.
You got it on the hook and it starts flopping and it gets flop its way back in the water.
You just let it go.
Jesus, damn.
You got Texans and Chiefs, and you got Steelers and Ravens.
Ooh,
2 big games. That's what say the 2 biggest games happen on Saturday. So
tomorrow.
That's tomorrow. So by the time this comes out, those games will have been played. But I know you got your eyes on Sunday, the debut of Michael Penix Jr. D. Damn, man, that's a must-win game for you all to continue the playoff push. It's just crazy.
It's just so disappointing.
Almost too little, too late.
Yeah, it's like you had the lead.
You had the lead. Damn. You had the lead. All right, son, we're going to move on to that juicy news.
Because
if you don't,
now
you know. Young brother, young sister, young player, Dwight Howard, P. Diddy, Porter family, Cheetah.
Okay,
what's that juicy news, son?
The juicy news, because if you don't know, now you know. There's been a lot of speculation. This is almost like some juicy conversation. So Travis Hunter has won the Heisman, but his fiance Lena has been in the headlines. She's got a lot of backlash because people are exposing her, saying that there's a lot of times where she seems like she's not unappreciative. She's not very enthusiastic for Travis's success. Lena is also she's an influencer as well. Who's not? She's on TikTok. She has a little following. One also what helps that you're Travis Hunter's girlfriend. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Travis Hunter's more he's a football player, a little bit more shy, a little bit more reserved. He does have a great personality, but he's just more to himself.
He's more about his business. Yeah.
He's a little bit more about his business, not out there like on social media on just like blogging and stuff like that. Where she just likes not the attention, but yeah, pretty much like the attention. And then there's a few cases to where she's telling old stories to where Travis would drive her to a party and Travis would just be out in the car waiting for her to get done partying, and then he would just stay there and be there to pick her and her friends up. And so they're kind of saying that she's taking advantage of the situation. She doesn't appreciate Travis. So she went on record and she kind of set a lot of that mess straight as far as because they're engaged now. They're young couple. They're engaged. That she backs her man Travis. That it's not like that. Even Travis has come out to say, "Okay, no, you guys got it all wrong." And
they've been together since 2022. They just didn't get together.
Right. They've been together. So
she moved out to Colorado with him.
And she's setting the record straight of saying the internet will take a little thing and they'll just roll with it. And now it's just this whole stigma of how they're telling Travis, run. Pretty much. She had too many red flags. You already got her personality. It shows you as soon as you get that bag and something goes wrong, she's taking half of your money. So they're pretty much telling Travis to go and run. But it's just it's juicy news because now that he's got the Heisman, he's expected to be maybe a first round draft pick. This is something that people are going to pay a close attention to in the relationships, especially once you hit that superstardom. people start getting all in your business.
Right.
So
I mean, a lot of people assume they just got together though, and that's not the case.
And that's not the case at all.
Yeah. But I understand though, when there's red flags, there's still red flags, no matter when you got together.
Yeah. But that also
there's a couple of them. Yeah. But the whole partying thing, that's not my deal. But I'm not going to restrict you from going. I got to give them credit for that, because a lot of men would have been like,
hot about that.
Way. Oh, they've been hot.
They would have been hot. Are you gonna, and I'm not, and I got this.
And I gotta, you with me.
Honestly, that's shows his character, though, that the fact that he stayed there, make sure she was okay, and then she got to ride home safe. I mean, some people might call it simping, some people might call it you're getting taken advantage of, but in the grand scheme of things, that's just an honorable thing to do.
Dude, cool brother, just taking care of his woman, making sure she's good.
Cool.
I don't, even though we're not, doing the same things, don't vibe on the same things, I'm not going to restrict you from going.
Yeah, college.
We're in college. Go ahead. You go ahead and do your thing. I'll be out here.
I got to be at practice in the morning. So
right. I don't partake in the same things, but you go do you, boo.
And especially he definitely probably couldn't party because people were just waiting to get him on in a bad light, take a picture, or somebody slipped something in his drink. Now he acting out of character, and now it's a whole story. So that's the better way to
clickbait on him. I've known his GPA for a while now. He's close to a 4.0, 3.7 GPA, but the clickbait, Travis Hunter's GPA finally exposed. And they exposed about it. He's an academic All-American. But they're not spending the positive part of it.
Right.
They're trying to make you think that, he don't go to class. So he's just there.
He's fine with he's succeeding with all, what's it called? Yeah, succeeding with all colors. Passing off flying colors.
Yeah, he's passing with flying colors.
With flying colors, yeah.
Mm-hmm. In all categories.
All categories.
But bro, if you do want to drop her,
but hey,
now may be the time.
Before you sign that contract.
Before you sign that big contract. Now might be the time. I'm not telling you to.
Now might be the time.
I'm just telling you to.
I ain't telling you to. I'm just recommending. I'm not telling you to. I'm just suggesting.
If it were me, I'm not telling you, dude. But if it were me,
I'm not telling you to. I'm just insinuating.
But don't take my advice.
But what do I know?
Hey, what do I know, man?
I'm not in your relationship.
But if it were me,
right. But if I was in a relationship,
I'm out. All right, son. All right. Let's move on with our pops, flops, and props.
Oh, those pops.
Who you popping? Those pops, flops, and props. Who you popping tonight?
My pops, we were talking about it earlier. College football players are here. I'm excited. I'm ready to see these games. Also for Saturday not playoff football, but Saturday NFL games too as well. It's gonna be a jam-packed Saturday. Excited for this weekend. We're getting some real good football.
My pop's going to go to Mike Vick for becoming the 19th head football coach at Norfolk State.
Yes, sir.
Who you flopping?
Pops is going to go to the Falcons and making that poor decision. Just as far as just the mishandling of Kirk, you can see that he wasn't doing well, and sometimes you just got to not be his friend. You just got to make those tough decisions. I think they could have salvaged even with Koo. You could have got a different kicker in there because Koo
he's on injured reserve, I think I saw.
Now he's on injured reserve. You didn't kick the man out
of the rest of the season.
So it's just Falcons organization. It's just a flop, man. It's just a flop.
I gave the NBA props last year for coming up with the NBA in-season cup. I thought it was a good thing, but I'll admit, D, once my team, the Warriors, didn't make it to the finals or the semifinal, I lost interest. So I think NBA needs to do something because it's struggling right now.
They need a spark.
Yeah, they need a spark. They need something else. NFL is 24/7. The college football, I got a feeling it's getting ready to rival the NFL because there's going to be with people with the NIL and transfer portal. There's always going to be constant news. And, you're falling by the wayside, NBA. Props. Who you propping?
Props is going to go to the Milwaukee Bucks for winning the in-season tournament.
That was mine as well.
Shout out to them.
All right, son. We'll keep it moving because it's time to tell someone, too. Sit your ass down. Man, sit your ass down. Please. And thank you. Son, who you telling?
Kirk Cousins. Sit your ass down. Michael Penix is up next. We got a black left-handed quarterback. Last time we had that, it was Michael Vick. So I'm not.
Him and Bijan need to trade numbers.
Yeah, for real though. Honestly, I hate that they don't really. I hate also Falcons. You gotta induct that man into the Hall of Fame.
We talked about that.
You think of a Falcon legend, Michael Vick. I don't care who you're talking about.
Man.
But that's another story for another
day.
But right now, Kirk Cousins, sit your ass down. This is why I said earlier before, I'm surprised that he was having so much success in the earlier seasons. But now he's back to the Kirk Cousins that I remember. He's 50-50. He's like a Jameis Winston. He can be balling for a good majority of the season. And then the later half of the season, he's just terrible.
He's Kirk Cousins.
He's the reason why we're losing games. He can be the reason why we're winning games because throwing 500 yards, 4 TDs, the offense was looking great. I'm like, what? This is looking phenomenal. And then the last 5 weeks, we just been looking just atrocious. It's just been terrible football. Even that win against Oakland, I'm like, this is just god awful. We should have won 28-9. It shouldn't even been a game. Now I get it's hard to win in the NFL, but that shouldn't have been a game.
You almost lost that game though. That was the kicker. You almost lost it.
Kirk Cousins gonna have to sit his ass down. Mike Penix, stand your ass up and see if you can get us a win against the New York Giants. But
try to right the ship.
Kirk Cousins, sit your ass down.
All right, son. Mine is gonna go to the university presidents and athletic directors who agreed that players can transfer to other schools while the season is still being played. Man, sit your asses down. And if you just want to change it, get rid of these meaningless bowl games. Because like I said, these players, that the bulk of them won't go pro. They're taking meaningless hits. Like I said, possible trauma to the brain, concussions, things of that nature. It's not necessary. Sit your asses down.
Sit your ass down.
Readjust this transfer portal thing, though. Shouldn't happen while players are still playing. And then some players can't even play because half the team left. So now I can't further my career. Yeah, I can't even play. They left and I'm still here. I guess I need to leave too because there's nothing left. Sit your asses down. Get it right. University presidents and athletic directors. Damn, son, man, we zoomed through some stuff.
We did.
I could keep going for another hour. There's so much stuff that we could really continue to talk about.
Go after midnight right now.
Go after midnight. We do need to do that, though, real soon. We're going to make that happen in 2025.
Yeah, we are going to make it happen.
That's our resolution to bring you some after midnight conversation. Real content, real raw talk. We'll have to do it. Hey, it's still that Christmas season. Time. Don't forget about that merch. Man,
it's crispy.
Is that not sweet?
That's pretty nice.
All colors, and all sizes, whatever you want. And if you don't want our logo, what is your logo? We take care of businesses. We've done that. Whatever you want, we got it. Just get at us. Hit us up. Girl, no, I can provide. Oh man, this has been a good one again. And as we mentioned at the top of the podcast, happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, Feliz Navidad,
Kwanzaa,
happy Kwanzaa, all of them, whatever you celebrate. And if you don't celebrate, just enjoy time with family or enjoy your day, whatever it may be. But well, first of all, hold on. Thank you all for listening to the Me and D
Pops and Son
podcast
for that ass.
For that ass.
For that ass.
For that ass. Till Santa Claus comes, D, tell him.
But until next time, I'ma holler.
All right. Season 3.
Season 3.
Unos, dos,
tres.